Hi everybody, Brian here from touringplans.com, and today I have a calendar here because we are talking about the least and most crowded Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween parties which happen at the Magic Kingdom every fall. So this is something that I have been doing yearly for the past, I don't know, 5 years maybe, where we use all of our wait time numbers to try to figure out what is the best Halloween party to go to. We also do it with the Christmas party, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, although I haven't run those numbers yet, so that video will be coming in a week or two. I won't be going over the full list. If you want that, you have to go to touringplans.com/blog, where I have written a post that has the full chart, top to bottom, with all of these parties ranked. So how exactly do we rank them? Well, it's a little tricky because people don't generally go to hard ticket parties like this. What I mean by hard ticket is that you have to buy a separate ticket. It is not included in your park admission. And when people buy tickets like that, they want to do the unique things like the Boo-to-You parade, the fireworks, the stage shows, things like that. They aren't necessarily going on the rides. The problem with that is that the only real hard data that we have are the ride wait times. The wait times are still relative depending on how big the crowds are. There is one big exception to that I will talk about when I get to the busiest parties. Another good indicator is whether the party sells out. Now, that one's also been a little tricky because up until about 2016 or so, the parties used to sell out relatively frequently. There used to be 5 or 6 sellouts at least over the course of the fall. Last year, 2018, there were only 3 sellouts. The very first party and the last 2, the one right before Halloween and the one on Halloween, are the only ones that sold out. Now, if you want all the details about the party, I would obviously suggest you check out touringplans.com. The basics of it are that it goes from 7 p.m. until midnight on these select days. The ones with the pumpkins on them, of course. Tickets for this per person start at $79 for an adult ticket, that's not including tax, and go all the way up to $135 for that Halloween night party. Most of the October ones are in the $105 to $115, that's US dollar, not including tax. And with that, you get a unique fireworks show, a unique parade, stage shows, and access to most of the rides with fairly low waits. And the average wait time for this is only around 15 minutes per attraction. On the higher end of that is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which is in the upper 30s, but most rides are 20 minutes or less that you will be waiting on average. Of course, if you go towards the beginning of the party where it's a little busier, it might be a little higher. Towards the end of the party, it's going to be a little lower. Now, one thing we should mention, the Magic Kingdom now closes to all day guests at 6 p.m. on party days. If you are attending the party, you can just stay in the park. So you kind of get an extra hour for free while they try to clear everybody out. The actual Halloween party festivities are not going on until 7 p.m., but the rides are all open for you and you only if you have the wristband saying that you are attending Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. So that is a pretty good time to jump in line for a couple rides. All right, so before I get to this, let's talk about last year. Every year I tweak the formula a little bit based on any changes from the previous year. I didn't actually change it much this year because last year was just a little bit weird. We tend to recommend the parties in like the second week of September here. In fact, this one right here is the party that we recommend more than any other as our best party to go to. Problem was, this section of September, these 2 weeks here, were in the middle range, like in the teens in the ranking after the fact, after I looked. Then a couple of them were also in the top 5 of the least crowded parties. I'm not sure why mid-September was going up and down so much. Usually it's all on the lower end. And since we can't really explain what happened in that mid-September area, I didn't really use it as a data point unless it continues to happen. As you will see, because a couple of them I'm recommending are right back in there. Because like I said, I've been doing this for I think 5 or 6 years now. I think this might be year 6 for me. And every year this has been a good stretch to go in, except for last year. So it could just be a blip. All right, so let's go with the bad ones first. We're gonna do the 5 parties that we think will be the busiest. Now, let me say one thing. The parties can feel very busy at all times. there are fewer sellouts. One of the reasons we think is because they're letting more people in than they used to. We kind of have an idea that maybe this first party, which is going to be Friday, August 16th this year, they might even let more people into that one than the others, because there are a lot of people that want to, cover the party. I was there last year going to my very first Mickey's Not So Scary, and I didn't love it. Part of the reason was because it did feel very crowded in the walkways, everything. It was also 100 degrees. That video is popping up on top of my head right here if you would like to go back and watch my experience there. So obviously I wouldn't necessarily recommend that first one unless that's just the only one you can go to. But a lot of them might feel kind of busy, and that leads us into the 5 we think will be the busiest. So these are the ones, if you have other choices, try to avoid these. The first one, the 5th, I'm gonna go 5 to 1 here. First one is right down here, Tuesday, October 8th. That is, as you can see, Columbus Day week. Columbus Day is a day off here in the United States. It is kind of right between when our schools normally start, which is up here in like the end of August, beginning of September, and the Thanksgiving holiday, which is in November, which we'll have to deal with when we talk about the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas parties. Columbus Day week here tends to be a day, since a lot of the kids have off school, people have off work, it is a federal holiday, that people will come down and kind of spend the week in Disney thinking it won't be as busy. Problem is, it still gets kind of busy because there's enough people that think that. Next one on that list is October 6th for the exact same reason. Let's make a better X on there. Right now I have 2 X's. At number 3 is down here in November 1st. Now they don't always have a party on November 1st. Sometimes they end them on Halloween. Sometimes they extend to November 1st. I think they've even gone to November 2nd before, but this year they are going to November 1st. And on top of that, it is a Friday night. Because Halloween is a Thursday this year. Number 2, now this is a little bit harder to explain, but it is October 14th. I've never quite worked out why that one gets busy, but it does. Last year, that had the highest average wait times by about half a minute or so, which is fairly significant. The year before that, in 2017, it was the second highest. In 2016, it was also the second highest wait times. Not sure exactly what it is about that party right there, but the wait times are always higher for it. And it has actually sold out in the past. That was one of those in 2015. It did sell out. So people like that party. I don't know why. And the number 1, as you were probably going to guess here, is Halloween itself. Now, Halloween never has the highest wait times. Never ever does. It is always in the middle of the pack as far as wait times go. But it always sells out. Last year sold out 16 days before the party. 2017 it was 23 days, 54 days, 89 days, 71 days. Yes, that's right, 89 was in there. It actually sold out August 3rd one year for that last Halloween party. If you want to go to that party on Halloween, I suggest you start buying the tickets right now. And expect that it's going to be very crowded. And because the wait times are always low for the rides, makes me think that people are going there because they want to see the parades, they want to see the fireworks, they want to see that stuff. So that stuff is going to get crowded. All right, so here's what you came for, the best parties to go to. As you can see, all of my X's are down here in October. Closer it gets to Halloween, the more people are in the Halloween spirit, the more people want to go to a Halloween party. Makes sense. When do people not really want to go to a Halloween party? Yeah, that's right. August and September. Now, I actually don't have any August ones in the top 5, but these parties, the 20th and 23rd, will also be pretty light. They are both in the top 10. All right, so my 5 least busy parties. Let me tuck my pointer under there so I can get my marker back out. At number 5, September 15th, right there. Now, this is a little weird. Normally, for years and years, we've recommended going on Tuesdays over other days. And in general, Tuesdays are still better. But for whatever reason, the crowds have started to shift more towards Tuesday and less towards Sunday. I don't know if that's because a lot of people tend to arrive on weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, and then stay for the week. Maybe they don't want to do the Halloween party right in the beginning of their trip. I don't know what it is, but the numbers are starting to point more towards Sundays. This one right in the middle of September is a good one. Now, This was one that was low last year, even though some of them around it were a little bit higher. This one actually has been in the top 5 for the past 3 years, so I'm pretty confident. Another one we're going with, and this one actually surprised me a little bit, another Sunday, September 29th, down here. I don't know why, but the wait times for this, on average, were lower than every other party by a full minute. Now the range on the wait times was only about 6 minutes total from the lowest party to the highest party. The highest party being October 14th, a mere 2 weeks later. But this one was under everything else by over a minute. And I looked at the year before, and I think there's another one that's been in the top 5 for 3 years running. So it gets in that number 4 slot. Number 3, September 6th up here. Now, I know again, this looks scary. It's a Friday night. It's Labor Day weekend, but that has consistently stayed low even when the others haven't. Now, number 2 here, September 10th. That one wasn't as low last year. That one came in, I believe, 13 maybe. It had been number 1 for quite a while, and it had been in the top 5 basically since I've been tracking. So this one is just faith. I am assuming that this will still be a low party, even though last year it wasn't totally. And what we are recommending as the number 1 party this year, September 24th, fits a lot of our requirements. It is a Tuesday. It is in September. It is far enough away from both Labor Day week and Columbus week that you won't get any traffic from there. That is the one we think will be the best this year. As you can see, all 5 of these are in September. Not a coincidence, September is still the best month to go. As always, any comments are welcome, except bad ones. Don't leave those. And thank you all for watching. Be excellent to each other.